Now, if you have seen the war in these 10 days so far, you have realized that Russia still have not taken more than 2 cities. In fact, the 2 biggest cities are still under the control of the Ukrainian government. And the people are continuing to resist as I am speaking. I mean, you think about this and you think, wow. I mean, why would Vladimir Putin pick a war he can't win? Now, this is the reality. He knows he can't win. He knows that. He knows even if he takes siege, he can't win it. He can't. Because people in Ukraine won't support him. They won't obey the Russians. In fact, people are literally staying in front of tanks telling the Russian soldiers, leave Ukraine, by holding flags in front of them. You have to think at some point, when people do that, you are not welcomed. And those 19-year-old Russian soldiers need to understand that very clearly. They are not welcomed. They are not welcome. That's the truth. They have to understand that. Also, I would believe that, NATO needs to, I quote, NATO and the United States need to declare a no-fly zone and also ban Russian oil. Why? Because if they don't, Russia will attack NATO countries. He will attack Poland, Lithuania. He will attack them. There is no question about that. He will. There is no question about that. I mean, NATO is being created for this literal purpose. Also remember, Russians are attacking nuclear sites. I mean, for God's sake, these nuclear sites are massive. And one shelling that hits a nuclear site will create a freaking nuclear radiation all of Europe. Does this man understand the gravity of the situation? Maybe he doesn't, because he's a man who's crazy. He doesn't understand. All he wants is to win the war against Ukraine. But he can't win that war because his 40-kilometer convoy is getting stuck middle of the road because of mud. You know then, in that situation, you can't win this war. For God's sake, you can't win it. Quit it. I mean, after all these sanctions, it's the common Russian people who are going to suffer for your actions, Vladimir. Not you. It's the normal people. They are the ones who are suffering. Why should they suffer? But they have to because of your actions. Unfortunately, that's the reality. And also he thinks sanctions are equal to intervention. I'm sorry, there are no foreign troops in Ukraine except Ukrainians themselves. Do you see US troops in Ukraine? I don't see them. Maybe he sees them because of his eyesight. I mean, does he see troops from the UK? Does he see any NATO nation? No, I don't see that. In Ukraine, I don't see them. I don't see them fighting. So I guess Vladimir Putin is living in a world of his own thinking that there are NATO and US forces in Ukraine. They don't. Ukraine never provoked Russia. They didn't even think of joining the EU whatsoever until now. They didn't even think of joining the NATO. In fact, they gave up their nuclear weapons after the 2014 invasion in 2014. Honestly, I don't know what else a country can do to prove that they are neutral. Even if they want to join NATO, what's wrong with it? They're a country with their own sovereignty. And Russia, Vladimir, there is no Soviet Union. The Soviet Union doesn't exist. It died. Because it's just unbearable for the world. And it's hard to imagine that it's a man like you who has hands on nuclear weapons. A man like you. A man that fighting a war that can't be won. A war that doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. I guess he doesn't understand that, because you can't tell someone who's doing wrong that they are wrong. You can't tell them that, because then they think they are doing right even more. So overall, I believe the West needs to do more. They need to put a no-fly zone, definitely. They have to ban Russian oil. They have to do whatever it takes, especially NATO, to make sure that the Russians do not invade NATO countries, because they will definitely invade them if they're in Ukraine. That's the truth. And plus, also remember, at this moment, the Ukrainians have destroyed and shot down many Russian helicopters and planes at this given point. Russians' idea of winning this war is to bombard cities into submission. That's what they are doing. That's what they are trying to do. Unfortunately, I will say this. Vladimir, people of Ukraine will not welcome your soldiers or your country. In fact, they never ever will. That's the truth. And if there's any people like Russian bots and Russian trolls on the internet, let me make it clear. Your opinions don't matter. Because everyone knows what a Russian bot is. So on this notion, I'm going to end this video. Hit the like button and subscribe to my show.